A small dragon cried alone in the dust, not because he was weak, but because someone took the last memory of his father. A golden locket, now in the hands of alien royal kids, laughing. No one helped him. No one cared, until a human girl stopped. She looked at the crying dragon, then at the powerful alien empire above them, and said one thing: "We're taking it back." Kale lived where the great alien city ended and the forgotten world began. Tall, shining towers touched the sky in the distance, while broken ground and cold metal scraps filled the land around him. No one came here unless they had no place left to go. And Kale had no place. He was small for a dragon. His wings were thin and weak. His scales did not shine like the proud dragons in stories. His fire was barely a spark. Most days he stayed hidden behind broken walls and old machines, watching the city from far away, listening to the sounds of power and life that he was never part of. But Kale was not always this alone. There was a time when he had someone: his father, a strong dragon with bright, glowing eyes and wings that could block the sun, a dragon who was respected and feared. But that time was gone. The only thing Kale had left of him was a small golden locket hanging from his neck. It was old but beautiful, warm to the touch, and inside it burned a tiny flame. Not a normal flame. It moved softly, like it was alive, like it was breathing. His father told him once that it held a piece of his energy, a part of his spirit that would never fade, a memory that would never leave. Whenever Kale felt scared, he held the locket close, and the warmth made him feel like his father was still there, watching, protecting, waiting. That locket was not just an object. It was everything. One quiet day, Kale stepped out from his hiding place. The sky was bright. Ships flew above like silent shadows, and the city walls glowed with strange alien lights. Kale moved slowly, carefully, looking for anything he could eat. That was when he heard voices, loud, sharp, full of pride. Alien noble children. They floated down from the sky on small hover devices, wearing shining clothes and laughing like nothing in the world could touch them. Kale froze. He knew their kind. They were powerful, untouchable, cruel. He tried to step back into the shadows, but it was too late. One of them saw him. A tall alien boy with glowing blue eyes pointed and laughed. "Look at that thing." Another one moved closer. "Is that even a dragon?" They circled him slowly, their smiles growing wider. Kale lowered his head. He stayed silent, hoping they would get bored and leave. But they did not. One of them kicked a piece of metal near him. "Trash dragon." The others laughed louder. The words hit harder than the kick. Kale stepped back, his heart beating fast. He wanted to run, but his legs felt heavy. Another child moved closer, leaning down to his level. "What is that on your neck?" Kale's eyes widened. He stepped back again, trying to protect it. "Nothing. Please." But the alien child reached out fast. Too fast. His hand grabbed the golden locket. "No." Kale jumped forward, trying to hold it, but he was too weak. The chain snapped. The locket was gone. The group went silent for a moment. Then one of them held it up. It glowed softly in their hand. "What is this? It feels strange." Another one laughed. "Maybe it is his trash treasure." They all laughed again. Kale's body shook. "Give back." His voice was small, broken. They ignored him. He took a step forward. "Please. That is mine. It is all I have." One of them looked at him with cold eyes. "Then come and take it." They rose into the air slowly, floating higher. Kale tried to follow, jumping, reaching, but he could not fly that high. His wings failed him. He fell back to the ground. The laughter echoed above him, the locket still in their hands. "Please," he shouted again, but they were already turning away, flying toward the royal towers, toward a place Kale could never reach. The glow of the locket faded into the distance, and then it was gone. Silence fell, heavy and cold. Kale stood still for a moment, like his mind could not understand what just happened. Then his legs gave out. He dropped to the ground, his claws digging into the dirt, his chest tightening. The warmth was gone. The connection was gone. It felt like losing his father all over again. His breath became uneven, his eyes filled with tears. Why? Why did they take it? He had nothing else. Nothing. He curled into himself, trying to hold on to something that was no longer there. The world around him felt empty. Bigger, darker, colder. Time passed. He did not know how long. Minutes. Maybe more. The city lights kept shining. Ships kept flying. Life kept moving. But Kale stayed there. Broken. Alone. Then soft footsteps approached. Slow. Careful. Not loud like the others. Not cruel. Kale did not move. He did not want to see anyone. He did not want to hear more laughter. But the footsteps stopped near him. A quiet voice spoke. Hey. Kale flinched slightly. The voice was different. Gentle. Not mocking. Are you okay? Kale slowly lifted his head. Through blurred vision, he saw her. A human girl. Simple clothes. Dust on her face. But her eyes were calm. She was not smiling. She was not laughing. She was just looking at him. Waiting. Kale tried to speak. But no words came out. Only a small broken sound. The girl stepped closer, slowly lowering herself to his level. She did not reach for him. She did not force anything. She just sat beside him. What happened? Her voice was soft. Kale looked at her. Really looked. And for the first time since it happened, he did not see fear. He did not see cruelty. He saw something else. Care. And something inside him cracked even more. The pain came rushing back. Stronger. They took it. He whispered. The girl leaned closer. Who took it? Kale swallowed hard. The alien children. They took my locket. His voice trembled. It was my father's. The last thing he gave me. His claws pressed into the ground. I have nothing else. The girl's expression changed. Her eyes sharpened slightly. Not with anger yet, but with understanding. Kale lowered his head again. Tears falling into the dirt. I cannot stop them. I am too weak. The words hurt more than anything. For a moment there was silence. And the girl spoke again. Still calm. Still steady. You are not weak. Kale looked up slowly. Confused. No one had ever said that to him. Not once. The girl met his eyes. And this time, there was something different in her voice. Something stronger. Then let's get it back. Lyra had nothing special about her. No shining armor. No powerful weapons. No name that people feared. She was just a human girl trying to survive under the rule of an alien empire. In this world, humans stayed quiet. They followed orders. They avoided trouble. Because trouble always ended badly. Lyra knew this. She had seen it her whole life. People who spoke too loud disappeared. People who resisted were crushed. People who dreamed too big were broken. So most humans learned to look away, to ignore pain, to ignore injustice, to survive. But Lyra was different in one simple way. She did not walk away. When she saw Kale curled on the ground, shaking, crying like his world had ended, she stopped. She could have kept walking, like everyone else. But she did not. She sat beside him, quiet, patient. She gave him space, not forcing him, not rushing him, just staying there. That alone was something Kale had never felt before. Someone staying, not leaving. When Kale finally spoke, his voice weak, broken, she listened. Every word. He told her about his father, about the locket, about the flame inside it. He told her how it was the last thing he had, his last connection, his last memory, and how it was gone now. Taken, mocked, lost. Lyra did not interrupt. She did not question. She did not doubt. She listened like every word mattered. Because it did. As Kale spoke, her expression slowly changed. At first it was soft, understanding, but then something deeper appeared. Her eyes hardened slightly. Her jaw tightened. Not fear, not sadness. Anger. Not loud anger. Not wild anger. But something quiet and strong. The kind that stays. The kind that does not fade. Kale lowered his head again. Ashamed. I cannot stop them. His voice trembled. I am too weak. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Lyra looked at him. Really looked. Not at his size. Not at his broken wings. But at his pain. And she reached out slowly. Carefully. Placing her hand on his head. Kale flinched at first. Not used to touch. But her hand was warm. Gentle. She did not push. She did not force. She just rested it there. Then she spoke. You are not weak. Her voice was calm, but firm. Kale blinked, confused. No one had ever told him that. Not once. He looked at her, searching her face, trying to understand. But why? He asked quietly. They took it. I cannot stop them. Lyra shook her head slightly. That does not make you weak. That makes them wrong. Her words were simple, but they carried weight. Kale did not know what to say. For so long he believed the opposite, that being unable to fight meant he was nothing. But now, someone was telling him something different, something new. Lyra removed her hand slowly, then wiped the tears from his face. Her touch steady. Careful. If no one helps you, she said softly, then I will. The words landed deep, stronger than anything Kale had heard before. He stared at her, shock mixing with doubt. You, he whispered. Why? Lyra looked toward the distant towers, the massive structures where the alien elites lived, where power ruled everything, where no one like them was allowed. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Because it is not right, she said. That is enough reason. Kale followed her gaze. Those towers felt impossible. Far. Untouchable. The place where the ones who hurt him lived without fear. You cannot go there, he said slowly. They are powerful. They will not give it back. His voice carried fear again. The same fear that had kept him small. Safe. Hidden. Lyra stood up, dust falling from her clothes. She looked small compared to the massive city behind her. Just a human girl. Nothing special. But the way she stood, it was different. Straight. Unshaken. Like she had already made her choice. She looked at the towers again, then spoke. We are not asking them. Kale's eyes widened slightly. The meaning behind those words was clear. This was not about begging. This was about taking it back. The idea felt impossible. Dangerous. Almost unreal. Kale slowly pushed himself up, his legs shaking, his body still weak. But something inside him was changing. Not strength. Not yet. But something else. A small spark. He looked at Lyra again, trying to understand her. You are not scared? He asked. Lyra smiled slightly. Not a happy smile, but a real one. Of course I am, she said. But that does not mean I stop. Her answer surprised him. He expected someone fearless, someone powerful. But she was not that. She was afraid, and still moving forward. That confused him. But also, it gave him something new. If she could be afraid and still act, then maybe, just maybe, he could too. Lyra took a step forward, toward the direction of the royal towers. Then she stopped and looked back at him. We go together, she said. No hesitation, no doubt. Kale looked at the ground, then at the sky, then back at her. His heart was still racing, his body still weak. But the emptiness inside him, it was not the same anymore. There was something there now. Something small, but growing. Hope. He took one step forward, then another. Slow, unsteady, but moving. For the first time since losing the locket, he was not running away. He was moving toward something. Toward danger. Toward the unknown. Toward a chance. Lyra watched him, and nodded slightly. Not proud, not surprised, just accepting. Like she knew he would stand. Kale stopped beside her. Still unsure. Still afraid. But no longer alone. The broken land behind them felt different now. Not a place to hide, but a place they were leaving. Ahead of them, the great alien city stood tall, bright, cold, powerful. The place where everything had been taken from him, and where he would take it back. Lyra started walking. Steady, focused. Kale followed, each step heavy, but real. The distance between them and the towers was still huge. The danger still unknown. But one thing had changed. Kale was not walking alone anymore. And sometimes, that was enough to change everything. The royal zone stood like a wall between worlds. Bright towers above, cold shadows below. No one from the lower city entered that place. Not without permission, not without power. Guards watched every path. Tall armored figures with glowing weapons, standing without movement like statues. Drones filled the sky, floating eyes that never blinked, scanning every corner, every shadow, every movement. Even the air felt controlled. Kale stopped when he saw it from a distance. His body froze. That place was not meant for him. It was too clean, too perfect. Too dangerous. We cannot go there. He whispered, his voice low with fear. Lyra did not stop walking. She looked ahead, her eyes focused. We are not going there, she said quietly. Kale frowned slightly, confused. Then where? Lyra turned slightly, pointing toward a dark broken section of the outer ground. There. Kale followed her gaze. At first he saw nothing, just cracked metal, old pipes, dust and shadows. Then he noticed it. A narrow opening, hidden between debris, almost invisible. That is not a path, he said slowly. Lyra gave a small nod. Exactly. She stepped toward it without hesitation. Kale remained still for a moment. His instinct screamed at him to stay back, to run, to hide. That path looked wrong. Dark, tight, unknown, dangerous in a different way. But then he looked at her again. She did not look back this time. She just moved forward, certain, like she had already chosen. Kale swallowed hard, then followed. The entrance was narrow. Cold air flowed out from inside, carrying the smell of rust and time. Lyra crouched and entered first, her movements careful, silent. Kale hesitated at the entrance. The light behind him, the darkness ahead. Two choices. One safe, one not. He took a deep breath, then stepped inside. The darkness wrapped around them quickly. The sounds of the city above faded, replaced by silence. Heavy, thick. Lyra pulled out a small light device. A faint glow appeared, just enough to see a few steps ahead. The tunnel walls were broken, metal bent inward, pipes hanging loose, water dripping slowly. This place was old, forgotten, maybe even abandoned for years. But Lyra moved like she knew it. Stay close, she whispered, her voice echoing softly. Kale nodded, even though she could barely see him. They walked deeper, each step careful, the ground uneven, sometimes soft, sometimes sharp. Strange noises echoed through the tunnels. Distant metallic sounds, shifting echoes, unknown movements. Kale's ears twitched. His heart beat faster. What if something is here? He asked quietly. Lyra did not stop. Then we deal with it. Her answer was simple. Too simple. But it gave no room for fear. Kale followed, trying to match her pace. But every shadow felt alive. Every sound felt closer than it was. At one point the tunnel split. Two paths, one darker than the other. Lyra paused, looking at both, then chose the darker one. Kale blinked. Why that one? He asked. Less likely to be used. She replied, still calm, still sure. They moved forward again. The tunnel grew tighter. For Kale it was harder. His wings brushed against the walls, making soft scraping sounds. He flinched each time, worried the sound would bring something, or someone. At one point the ceiling dropped lower. Lyra had to crouch. Kale had to crawl. The ground was cold beneath him, rough against his claws. He hated it. Everything about this place felt wrong. Why do you know this place? He asked softly. Lyra stayed quiet for a moment, then answered. Because I had to. That was all she said. But it was enough. Kale did not ask more. He understood. People like her survive by knowing places like this. Hidden paths. Forgotten ways. They moved for a long time. Time felt strange in the dark. There was no sky, no sense of direction, only forward. At one point a loud sound echoed behind them. Kale turned quickly. What was that? His voice filled with fear. Lyra stopped, listening. The sound came again, metal shifting, then silence. Old structure, she said. Keep moving. But Kale stayed frozen for a second longer, his mind imagining things. Creatures, guards, traps, anything. Then Lyra took a step forward again, without looking back, and Kale forced himself to follow. Step after step. Fear did not leave him, but he kept moving anyway, because she did. Finally the tunnel began to rise. The air changed, less heavy, fresher. Light started to appear ahead, very faint, but real. Kale's eyes widened slightly. Are we close? He asked. Lyra nodded. Yes. They reached a broken ladder, leading upward. It looked unstable, old, rust-covered. Lyra tested it. It held. She climbed first. Careful, balanced, each step slow. Kale watched, then followed. Climbing was harder for him, his claws slipping at times, his wings getting in the way. But he did not stop. When they reached the top, Lyra pushed a metal panel slowly. It moved with a soft sound. Light spilled in. bright compared to the darkness below. She peeked out first, checking, watching, waiting. Then she opened it fully. Kale climbed out after her, his eyes adjusting to the light. And then he saw it. They were inside. The royal grounds. Green gardens stretched around them. Perfect. Clean. Controlled. Tall structures rose above, smooth and shining. Alien designs glowing softly. Everything looked calm, peaceful. But it was a false peace. Because Kale could feel it. Power. Everywhere. Guards in the distance. Patrolling slowly. Drones moving above. Silent but watchful. This place was protected. More than anything he had ever seen. Kale's body tensed. "We should go back," he whispered. "Too late," Lyra said quietly, her eyes scanning the area. Focused. Sharp. "Somewhere in here," she continued. "They have it." Kale looked around, his heart racing again. This place felt too big, too dangerous. But he also felt something else. The faint pull. The connection. Weak. But there. The locket. He could feel it. Somewhere close. He turned his head slowly, trying to sense it. "It is here," he whispered. Lyra glanced at him. "Where?" Kale pointed toward the intersection, deeper into the palace grounds. "There." Lyra nodded once, then started moving. Low. Careful. Using structures and shadows. Kale followed closely. Every step now heavier than before. They were no longer outside. No longer hidden in darkness. They were inside the impossible. And there was no easy way out. Only forward. Only risk. Only the path they had chosen. Somewhere ahead, the stolen memory waited. And Kale was closer than ever to getting it back. The garden was too beautiful for what it held inside. Bright alien plants glowing softly. Floating lights moving like small stars. Clean white paths curving between perfect shapes. It looked peaceful. But nothing about it was peaceful. Because in the center of that garden, Kale saw them. The alien children. The same ones who took everything from him. They were laughing loudly. Playing without care. Spinning in air on small hover devices. Their voices echoed like they owned the world. And maybe they did. Kale stopped at the edge of the garden. His whole body froze. His breath became uneven. Because there it was. The locket. Hanging from one of their hands like a toy. Swung around carelessly. Shining softly in the light. Still glowing. Still alive. Kale's eyes widened. His chest tightened. No. His mind could not accept it. That was not a toy. That was his father. His memory. His last connection. His claws dug into the ground. His body started shaking. Lyra felt it immediately. She did not say anything at first. She just looked at him. Then at the garden. Then at the children. Her face changed slowly. Not surprise. Not confusion. Anger. Controlled. Focused. She stepped forward. One step. Then another. Kale tried to move with her. But his legs did not respond at first. He was stuck between fear and pain. The garden was too open. Too exposed. There was nowhere to hide now. Lyra kept walking. Straight into the light. Into the open space. The alien children noticed instantly. Their laughter slowed. Then stopped. All eyes turned toward her. A human girl standing in their private space. One of them tilted his head. Then smiled. A sharp mocking smile. "A human," he said loudly. Like it was something ridiculous. Another child laughed. And a weak dragon too. Their eyes moved toward Kale, who was still frozen at the edge. Watching. Shaking. The group laughed harder. They circled closer in the air. Like animals playing with something already trapped. Lyra did not react. She stopped at a safe distance. Her eyes locked on the locket. Then on the hand holding it. Her voice came out calm. Controlled. But firm. "Give it back." The laughter grew louder. One of the alien children spun the locket around his finger. Like a decoration. "This," he said. "You mean this useless thing?" Kale flinched at the words. Useless. That word hit harder than anything. Because to him, it was everything. The child smirked. He raised the locket slightly. Then crushed it gently in his grip. Not breaking it fully. But enough. Just enough. Kale felt it immediately. A sharp pain in his chest. Like something inside him screamed. The flame inside the locket flickered. Weakened. His father's energy. Dimming. Kale dropped to one knee. His claws shaking. No sound came out. Just pain. Deep and silent. Lyra's eyes changed instantly. Her calm broke slightly. Her fists tightened. But she did not move back. She stepped forward again, her voice stronger now. Give it back. Now. The alien children looked at each other, then laughed again. You think you can order us? One said. Another leaned closer in the air. A human. And a broken dragon. What are you going to do? The words were meant to humiliate, to crush, to break. But something was changing. Kale felt it. At first it was only pain. Then anger. Not loud anger. Not wild. Something deeper. Something rising from inside. He looked at the locket. The way it flickered in that alien hand. He saw it trembling. Like it was calling him. Like it remembered him. His father's voice echoed in his memory. Not words. Just feeling. Stand up. Kale's breathing changed. Slowly. He placed one claw forward. Then another. His body rose. The alien children noticed. One of them laughed. Look. The weak dragon is trying. But Kale did not stop. He stepped fully into the light. His shadow stretching across the garden floor. Lyra turned slightly. Watching him. She did not stop him. She did not call him back. She just stepped aside, giving him space. Because she understood. This was not hers. This was his. Kale's eyes locked on the locket. Everything around him faded. The garden. The laughter. The sky. Only that object remained. The last memory of his father. The alien child holding it frowned. What is this? He asked. The others suddenly felt something shift. The air changed. The light felt different. Kale's body stopped shaking. Not because fear was gone, but because it was replaced. His eyes began to glow faintly. At first very small, then stronger. The alien children slowly stopped laughing. One of them lowered his hand slightly. What is happening? He muttered. Kale took another step, then another. Each step heavier than before, but steady, focused. The ground under him felt different, like it was responding. The locket pulsed again in the alien hand, this time stronger. The flame inside reacting, calling. The alien child holding it suddenly looked uncertain. Hey, he said, but Kale did not stop. His voice came out low. Different. Give it back. The words were not loud, but they carried weight. The laughter disappeared. The garden became silent. Even the floating lights seemed still. Lyra watched from the side, her expression steady now, because she could see it. Something had changed. Kale was no longer the broken dragon from before. He was something else now. The alien child tightened his grip, trying to hold onto control. But Kale stepped forward again, and the air itself seemed to respond. The glow in Kale's eyes brightened. The locket began to shake in the alien hand, as if it was no longer willing to stay. The moment stretched, silent, heavy, unstable, and for the first time, the alien children felt something they had never felt before. Fear. The moment Kale stepped forward, everything changed. The air in the garden grew heavy, like the world itself was holding its breath. The glowing plants around them flickered. The floating lights slowed in the air. Even the laughter that once filled the space was gone. Silent. Empty. Watching. Kale stood in the center now. Not at the edge. Not behind anything. Completely exposed. But he was no longer the same dragon. Something inside him had awakened. Something buried deep under fear and pain. The ground beneath his claws cracked slightly. Not from force, but from pressure. From energy building inside him. The alien children noticed it immediately. Their smirks faded. Their playful confidence disappeared. One of them took a step back in the air. What is this? He muttered. Kale's eyes glowed brighter now, like fire trapped inside glass. Controlled. Focused. Alive. The locket in the alien child's hand began to shake violently. Like it was responding. Like it recognized something. The flame inside it pulsed stronger, matching Kale's heartbeat. Faster. Stronger. Louder. Kale took another step. Then another. Each step sending a faint vibration through the ground. The garden that once felt perfect now felt unstable. Like it was no longer in control. The alien child holding the locket tightened his grip, trying to stop it. But it did not listen. It reacted. To Kale. Give it back. Kale's voice came out again. But this time was not broken. It was steady. Deep. Real. The words hit the air like a command. Not a request. The alien children stopped laughing completely. For the first time, they were silent. One of them looked at the others. Confused. Uncertain. This was not supposed to happen. He's just a dragon. One whispered. But Kale kept walking forward. Slow. Controlled. His body no longer shook. His fear no longer led him. Something else did. The memory of his father. The bond in the locket. The promise inside it. Lyra stood behind him. Still. Calm. Watching. She did not move. She did not speak. Because she understood now. This moment did not belong to her. It belonged to Kale. The alien child holding the locket took a step back. His confidence breaking. What is happening? He said again. But no one answered. Kale stopped only a few steps away. The distance between them was small, but it felt like worlds apart. The locket glowed brighter. The flame inside it surged. Then suddenly, it pulled, like it had made a choice. The chain snapped from the alien child's hand. Not forced, not broken by strength, but pulled, as if something stronger called it. The locket flew through the air, straight toward Kale. The alien children reacted too late. Their hands reached out, but it was gone. Kale raised his claw and caught it. The moment it touched him, everything stopped. The glow exploded outward. Soft golden light spread through the garden. Not violent, not destructive, but powerful, warm, alive. Kale's entire body felt it. His father's energy, returning, not as something lost, but as something waiting. The small dragon's form straightened. His wings lifted slightly. His presence grew heavier, stronger, not in size, but in meaning. The alien children stepped back again, now clearly afraid. He is not weak, one of them said quietly. Kale held the locket close to his chest. The flame inside it now stable, bright, connected. His eyes slowly dimmed back to normal. But something remained. Strength. Lyra finally stepped forward, standing beside him. Not in front. Not behind. Equal. She looked at Kale and nodded slightly. No words needed, because everything was already said. Then the sound of alarms echoed through the garden. Heavy footsteps followed. Guards arriving. Armored alien soldiers entered the space quickly. Weapons raised. Drones followed behind them, scanning everything. The situation looked like it could explode at any moment. But then they saw Kale, standing still, holding the locket, and they saw Lyra, standing beside him, calm, unarmed, unafraid. The soldiers stopped, not because they were ordered, but because something felt wrong, something they did not expect. One guard raised his weapon slightly, but did not fire, because Kale did not move. He did not attack. He did not run. He simply stood, with the stolen memory returned, and the power that came with it. The alien children backed away, slowly now, no longer laughing, no longer proud, just silent, watching. For the first time, they understood something new. Power was not always control. Sometimes it was restraint. Lyra looked at the guards, then at Kale, then back at them. She did not speak. She did not threaten. She did not need to, because the truth was already visible. A human stood without fear, and a dragon stood without anger. Only purpose. The guards lowered their weapons slightly, not in defeat, but in hesitation, because even they could feel it now. This was not a simple theft. This was something bigger, something that could not be controlled easily. Kale closed his eyes for a moment, holding the locket close. The warmth returned fully now, not as pain, but as peace. His father's presence was not gone. It was with him. The garden slowly returned to silence. But it was different now. Not empty. Not peaceful. Changed. Kale opened his eyes again and looked at the world differently. Not as something that took from him, but as something he could stand within. Lyra stepped closer, just slightly, and said nothing. But Kale understood. He was not alone anymore. Not ever again. The alien guards finally stepped back. Slowly. One by one. Not attacking. Not stopping. Just watching. Because even the Empire understood now. Something had shifted. Something they could not ignore. The moment ended. But its meaning stayed. And far beyond the garden. Beyond the towers. Beyond the Empire itself. A new story had begun. One where a small dragon was no longer small. And a human girl had changed everything. Because she refused to walk away when it mattered.